So, hi everyone. This is just a short video, or I hope it's going to be a short video about how you can have a look on the allocated memory used in the censhare client. And why is this important? Well, if you are using too much of the allocated memory, then you are going to run into problems. The client is going to freeze, and you are going to be forced to force quit to fix that issue. And this happens sometimes. I do it. I run into these issues, and people out there run into these issues. But there is some things that might help you. So as you can see, I have my client here. And what I first of all need to do to um, to be able to see how much memory I'm using, I need to open the under the censhare client, the about censhare client. So this windows you need to open, and then at the same time as you close, click OK, you also need to hold down on your keyboard the alternative button. So if you do that at the same time as you say OK, you will see that you get this information down here. It says in my case now 447 megabytes and 3641 megabyte. The last figure number is the amount of allocated memory I have in my client, and the first number now 466 is the amount that is used. And I'm going to try to force so that we get as much possible use. So I'm not going to use as much as much as the allocated memory as possible. So one thing that really drives the allocated memory is when I'm using the column view. Of course, you should use the column view, but think maybe you shouldn't use it too often, or when you have used it, maybe you could close that tab or change the view to, for example, the list view. But in this case, I go into a catalog, I go to a spread, and you know that the column view is showing you all the relations. If I look at this one, it's going to show all the relation this catalog has, and it could be, in this case, it has some assignments underneath and some catalog layouts that are as planned for this one. And if I continue, I can see that in this layout there are a few placements of these shades. And now if I continue now to look how many relations this specific shade has, then you see it takes a while until the next column is loaded. And at the same time, you are going to see that this number is increasing, usually quite rapidly. So it started to move up to like 1000 megabytes. But this is okay. This is absolutely okay. So, and then I can continue see take just one spread and see how many relation that one, and then I can continue to look at how many, look at this shade and see how many relation that have. And what you can see now, sometimes it jumps and it increases quite fast. And I would say if this number, the first number is increasing too much, let's say about right 2000 or 2500, then you are probably quite soon going to run into a situation where you need to force quit your Sencha client. So to try to prevent that, keep an eye on this figure. And you can also see if I now close this specific tab where I use the column view, then it will hopefully quite, I would say rapidly, but not really rapidly, but it will then start to decrease the amount of memory that is used, even though I don't see it right now. But what I want to say with this is that if you activate this by opening the About censhare window and close it at the same time as you hold down the alternative button on your keyboard, then you have these numbers to keep track on to avoid to be forced to force quit your client. But it's actually not a big thing if you need to force quit, because you can just start it again, and the layers that you have had been open you can just continue to work on those. Okay, that's that. See you later, alligator.